Welcome to Live to Tape podcast with Johnny Pemberton of the podcast of the name I just said. You're about to enter the executive buffet, hands on the branch, also known as Daddy's Big Red Truck. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. Here we go. Did you hear that?
I do hear it. It sounds wonderful.
I'm ready to pull it down now. There was still a little bit left in me. Okay, don't hold it quite so tight. Okay. Stand what? Stand what? Okay, I think it's pulling the wrong one. I'm ready to pull it down now. There was still a little bit left in me.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. This is how it's going to start.
Hi, welcome to Live to Tape with Jimmy Jackson, aka Jason Peppercorn, aka John David Dent, aka Bill Smith, aka Jackfruit Pump Butt Express Nut House, Freak Tip Tit Sniff. Here on Live to Tape, my guest today is the one and only BROOKS double HWEELAN, Brooks Wheelan.
Hey, Brooks.
That was, I've never heard my, I never thought about how it's double H and then an H. So my last name is triple HEELAN.
I misspoke, okay?
No, but I'm saying it is double. No, wait. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm just like, I wasn't thinking right. I was like, is it double H? But no, it's W.
Your mic is very loud.
Oh, well, it's brand new. It's the first time I've ever used it.
Yeah, it sounds great, but you're definitely, I think you can probably go like a foot back away from it.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm using
Definitely.
it like a stand-up mic, and I'm pretty sure it's made for singing.
I think that thing is made for, I think that's a condenser mic. So it means it picks up like all kinds of stuff. This is not a condenser. This is a dynamic.
Okay. Well, I'll talk from right here then.
That sounds great. You look great too.
You look great, Jonathan.
I just took a shower.
You got nice tarps behind you. It seems like you just gave yourself, or maybe you or Britt gave you a quarantine haircut.
Well, I got a quarantine haircut about 3 weeks ago. Now it's starting to look good because it grew in.
Oh, that was buzzed up.
Oh, this was a number one right here, man.
Yeah, that was, I mean, because it looks, you got a good fade going now. So I can't imagine what 3 weeks ago, what it was.
But it looked like I was, like a kid who got a hold of the clippers or some shit. It really did. It looked
because
bad.
right now it looks really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I get a lot of compliments on this haircut, for real. I've been getting quite a bit of compliments, and I used to think I couldn't pull it off, but I guess I can.
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think first of all, now that we're all in quarantine, we all are going a little weirder with our hair,
Right.
And so it's unique. And then second of all, you did a good job, which in a quarantine
shit, I just totally lost you.
You get double. Did you lose me?
Yeah,
did
your
you lose
shit's fucked right now.
Oh, hold on. I lost you.
Oh man, this sucks.
I can't
It's
hear
okay.
you.
I'll just
I see you talking.
Okay, now it's okay. Now you're back.
I got you back. Okay.
I
I don't know. I mean, look, Zencaster looks like it was working.
Yeah, it's weird. So you're good.
Well, and lucky for us, my next door neighbors just started mowing their lawn, so that's great.
Well, I honestly don't hear it. So
okay,
what
perfect.
I do hear is your mic is still quite loud.
All right. Okay. All I'm saying is
the fact that turn it down. Turn it down.
You gave yourself a good quarantine mustache is
haircut. I didn't give it to myself. Britt
I know a quarantine haircut. Britt did a great job. Not messing with my mic.
It's
is
okay.
That better? Is this better?
I think it is. I mean, you can hear yourself, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. I mean, this is a nice. I'm glad we're using your podcast to test out my new microphone.
Yeah, and not yours.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What are you drinking there? Is that a mango cart?
It is. I took Jitlada over to our friend Nick Turner's for his 40th birthday.
Right.
And I didn't want a beer in the middle of the day because I was going to go do other things. But Jitlada is spicy as fuck.
It is. It's very hot. For
It
listeners who don't know what gelada is, it is a very famous Thai restaurant here in LA. I mean, it's just more famous than other places. It's very good.
it's super good. It's in my
Yeah.
neighborhood. Yeah, it's like that Jonathan Gold guy. It's like
Yes, Jonathan Gold.
his favorite restaurant ever.
Right.
And
Yeah, it is. It
it's
is
good.
very good.
It's really good, but it's incredibly spicy.
Yes. So what did you have that was so spicy?
I got the tom kha, the veggie tom kha,
Ooh,
and
taco pie.
yeah, and then some
Are you
crying tiger
vegetarian
beef.
now?
No, no, then I got crying tiger beef. My girlfriend tries to eat more like is like
Right.
most LA ladies who like if she does like rarely eats meat but isn't a full vegetarian.
I'm gonna say this. I may be wrong, but I feel like most women I know in general eat less meat than most men that I know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like she's like, is there a
Yeah.
veggie option? I would never ask if there was a veggie option.
Right. I mean, I like meat. I don't like eating. I'm not like a carnivore or anything, but I do. I gotta have my meat, baby.
I love that meat, baby. Yeah, yeah. It was nice to have a little, veggie tom kha, but then you got that crying tiger beef. It's a little, you dip it in that tom
Well,
kha, you make
the
that a
little
meat.
crying tiger beef.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It
man.
is. It's actually not beef. It's tiger.
Oh, that's a really good thing. That would be. That's a wonderful.
Yeah,
Of course, I'm sure the flying tiger beef is a crying
crying,
tiger.
crying
That's
tiger.
why
That's
it's crying. That's
yeah,
why
it's
it's
because you're
fucking
eating it.
crying.
And then they had to call it beef to get around, a lot of
Yeah,
the USDA hoops.
they probably call it that because of the Tiger King. I bet it's just flying off the shelves.
100%. Um,
Yeah.
Nice. I like this. How glad were you that nobody who asked on Twitter to be the Tiger King got to be the Tiger King?
What do you mean? I missed that. Tell me
So
about
like
this.
there was like all sorts of like people on Twitter being like, I want to be the Tiger King, like Dax
Oh,
Shepard
for
and
you mean for the remake?
yeah, yeah. And all these people are like, look how much I'm like the Tiger King
Dude,
and
fucking Dax Shepard. Dax, if you're listening right now, which you probably are, Dax, you and I both know that you don't have a fucking ounce of redneck in you, buddy.
they gave it to Nick Cage, which
Yeah, that was the right decision.
yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, I like Nick Cage. I hope he can be funny.
I don't like Nick Cage. I love Nick Cage.
You
There's nothing he's ever done wrong.
not one?
I think everything he does is inspired by some sort of a weird secondary god that is like a god of insanity. Did you ever see Mandy?
No, I haven't. I've been told by maybe 450 people to see it though.
It was probably one of my favorite theater experiences in my life. I saw it like the first day it was available to see. I saw it in the theater. I saw it at that nice new theater in Glendale. I can't think of what it's called, but it's like a fucking great theater. And it was
Well,
just like
I don't know what theater this is. What theater is this?
it's a little theater. I can't think of the name of it. I think it might be a Limley. It's a Limley.
Okay.
There's only a couple Limleys, and they're the best theaters because it's like an old school theater. It's
Yeah,
also not that big.
I'm a big fan of the Los Feliz 3. I know it's a little run down,
Yeah.
but I just love the experience. I'm a Los
Well, if
Feliz
you
3
like
boy.
that, if you want to go to a place that's instead of being run down is not run down,
Yeah.
but has all the charm of a pre-stadium seating theater, you go to Limley Glendale. They have the nicest people in the world work there. They have a full array of beer and wine, great
Ooh,
snacks. So I had like a big old fucking juicy IPA sitting there watching the Mandy movie, and
that sounds great.
yeah,
You know
it's
what
the best.
my favorite movie going experience of last year was the movie Yesterday. I went and saw that in
Really?
the theater and I saw it at the Los Feliz 3. It was like the 5th week it was out. So there's probably like 8 people total in there. And
Yeah.
everyone turned on the movie and it turned into just everyone was yelling boo and
Really?
laughing. And it was like the funniest, best, like I felt like I made like 6 new friends in the theater.
It was. I watched most of that movie on an airplane with the sound off, and I loved it.
It
Like
looks
what?
fun. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just like so dumb that like
I
once
bet
you
it's
lean
dumb.
into how dumb it is, it's really fun. But if you're
That's
like
cool.
trying to be like this is artistic, you're a crazy person.
It's very sweet, right? It's a very
No,
sweet movie.
it's I mean it's ridiculously stupid. It's ridiculously stupid. I don't think I'm giving anything away, but there's a point where John Lennon shows up like in
No
2019.
way. Okay, I didn't know about that. I didn't know
Yeah,
about
he
that.
shows up and my girlfriend Gabrielle yelled out loud, "No!" And everyone started laughing really hard. It was really funny.
No, I always think about that. One, like, I think it was the first sketch for Portlandia, where Fred Armisen is on that bike. He's like a hipster with big old gauges on his ears,
Yeah,
riding a
yeah,
fixed
yeah, yeah.
gear, and he sees the lofts, and he goes, "Lofts, why? Just lofts, why?" Like
Uh,
angrily,
that
just that. 'Cause
show.
I feel that way of myself a lot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like,
Just angry at something because it exists instead of
mhm.
being like, instead of being zen about it. I'm just like, fuck this.
Dude, right over by me, they built they like knocked down a bunch of buildings. I'm like, oh shit. And then they built like an Orchard Supply hardware store, which I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I was open for a month, right?
Yes. But it was,
Mhm.
I live like on that street basically. And I was like, this is great. It's a nice small Home Depot that I can walk to. I love gardening. We both like gardening and all that. And it's awesome. I like grilling. It was so fun. And Lowe's bought it. They shut it down. And then there's rumblings. There's rumblings. It's going to be the new Amoeba. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the new Amoeba music, which is like,
Seems too big, honestly.
but I'm like getting so excited. Like, if Amoeba moves there, I have to move because I'm gonna go broke. I'm gonna spend all my money
Yeah.
there. And it turns out it's just they turned it into an out of the closet, and I am just so disappointed. It's not even a
That's
good out of
probably
the
for the
closet.
best.
Yeah,
How is there such thing as a how is there such thing as a good out of the closet?
that's a good point. Yeah, but this one is even worse than a normal out of the closet. Like I
That
went
was
in
one of
there.
the first businesses I got into when I moved to LA. I was like, "Ooh, this is cool, out of the closet."
Yeah. Well, when did you move to LA?
I think 2005.
Okay,
Yeah.
straight from Rochester.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I went to college, then I moved home, then I
I forget
moved
which
to LA.
school you went to.
Florida State, baby.
Oh yeah, like my favorite. Yes, absolutely. Did you go to school there at all? No, no. You're a little bit older than me and Kevin Barnett because Barnett went there
Right.
right after you.
Yeah, I did not know uh, Barnett when he was there. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of even if he was there, I might not have known him because
right. I've been through Tallahassee a few times. Did you ever eat at this place called the like Blues Oyster and Aphrodisiac Shack?
was it like by the water? Or was it
It
in
was just like
town?
this run-down burger oyster shack,
I've
and they
never been
had
there. No.
they had comedy there, and I like went to an
Oh,
open mic there one time, and I got food poisoning.
hmm.
But overall,
Not
I really
surprised.
yeah, exactly. I thought Tallahassee was, like, pretty cool. Like, I mean, it is a run-down state capital.
It is Tallahassee. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I think it's great. Think if I were to go back there, I would probably be like, "Ooh, get me out of here." You know what I mean? But it's great if you're in college. Oh, it's wonderful.
No, yeah, I was there for a night and was like I just thought it was, like some state capitals, they try to make them nice. This one was
Mm.
not. They at no point did they try to shine this one up.
Yeah, it's also where all that shit went down when they had the recount. That was like ground zero.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't there. That was when I was having my bowel surgery. Was happening at the exact same time as the recount. So my friends who were in school then, because that was my sophomore year of college, they all told me that it was just madness because basically every apartment, everything in the world that could be rented was being rented out by journalists because they were all living in Tallahassee
Mhm.
covering this story. And so it was kind of like this real pandemonium.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had a slightly not the same experience because that experience was was wild, but a similar sort of experience that the Iowa caucuses happen.
Oh yeah,
And in 2008, when I was living in Iowa City, like it just like got taken over. It was because it's like the most liberal city in
yeah,
the state, so it got taken over. So it was like Bill Clinton was like I saw like Bill Clinton like 3 times just walking, and like
really.
Obama was all over the place, and Hillary Clinton and all the other nominees. It was like really nuts, and there's just nothing but rallies everywhere, and like I was like, what the fuck happened to our town? This is crazy.
You got all those Illuminati members checking in.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Illuminati, baby.
I also saw Trent Reznor in Iowa City one time, so it's proof that that's where all the cool people stay when they come to Iowa.
It's true. That in Fairfield.
What are you doing? Go to Fairfield to learn meditation?
I mean, I know the meditation, but I've never been to Fairfield. I heard it's pretty funky.
Yeah, growing up in Iowa, so people don't know Fairfield has this like I
The
don't know if
TM capital. It's
it's what
transcendental. It's
transcendental
transcendental.
transcendental meditation like I don't know. Is it the capital of that? Like, I just know that it's like a town that's like economy is built on people coming there to learn how to teach transcendental meditation.
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
it's a really small farming town
Mhm.
that got taken over by hippies,
Mhm.
like fully. So it's like literally growing up, I was like, do you want to drive to Fairfield and like see some hippies? Like that was
Yeah.
very real.
That's funny. Yeah, but that would be a cool attraction back then because it's so close. It's also just so
Out of,
small. And that
yeah,
the
out of
Golden
nowhere,
Dome.
so many men with ponytails who don't do karate. Like those are the only people who had ponytails. Was like the karate like gym owner in
Yeah.
Cedar Rapids would have one, and then nobody else. But I was like, they're just like crusty guys.
Have you considered the fact that you're severely backlit right now?
No, I'm working on this whole thing. You
If
want
you
me
were
to
to close those, if you were to close those
I'm
blinds
gonna
behind
shut
you,
these blinds real quick. Hold on.
okay, I'm gonna play a song while you do this because it's so easy to fix. Let's just fix it. Yeah. He's fixing the blinds. He's gonna make it look better for the video podcast. If you're just listening, you can't see it because you're just listening.
How we doing now?
A lot better. I can see your face better because the computer's able to balance the levels. You know this. You're a photographer.
Well, yeah. This is the first time I've used our. We have like a second bedroom. And I'm like converting it into my office, and so I'm
Nice.
still working out the kinks.
Well, now you worked it out. It's worked.
Well, I think I'm gonna flip this desk to face that way, and then that way I'm lit by the sun.
That's what I did. I just moved everything around this room recently, so now it's like I get this is the light of the day touching my face.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah. So, tell me about this fucking marathon, bro.
Oh, well, I like have always liked running, and then Nick Turner has a podcast called Get Rich Nick, and he ran out of ideas, and I was like, always wanted to see if I could run a marathon or not, but I've never had like a reason to. I'm not gonna like.
Right. When you say like running though, how much running do you do on average?
Like 3 miles every few days.
Okay.
But I like it. It's like anytime I get stressed out, I go for a run.
Yeah, me too.
It's really enjoyable. And so but I've never had a reason to like really do a marathon. Yeah, coffee. After I drink too much coffee, I have to run. And so I just bet. I was like, Turner, you want to bet $500? I can run a marathon. And he was like,
you initiated, it wasn't him?
Yeah, it was me. Well, I'd always said I wanted to do it, and then he was like, do it. And then it turned into
part of their podcast.
Well, yeah, but then I thought it was just, can I run a marathon? And I was like, of course I can just run a marathon.
Yeah.
But then he was like, no, you need to beat a certain time. You need to beat the average time. And I was like, well, I don't know if I can do that.
What is the average? 3.5 hours?
No, 4 hours and 36 minutes is the average.
And that is for 26.2 miles?
26.2 miles. So yeah. Okay. So I was like, okay, now it's a little trickier. And then I just went out and ran it, and I ran it in 4 hours and like 16 minutes. So
did you train at all?
No, zero training. It was like right before you and I both like to get out there, right when they were like, the quarantine's going to happen. My girlfriend Gabrielle lost both her jobs.
It's like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago.
It was like 8 weeks ago. Right. Okay. And so it was before there was any stay-at-home orders or anything like that.
Right.
And I was like, both her restaurants closed and all my gigs got canceled. And I was like, well, shit, let's go to Utah. So we went to Utah and camped at Canyonlands for a week. And then like the day we got back is when I ran the marathon. So I'd just been like driving all day, and then I went and ran it.
So you hadn't been training at all?
No, zero training.
But that's just sort of like that flies in the face of so much stuff. Did you know?
I hurt my knee. I had iliotibial band syndrome. It's called like
ITBS.
Yeah. ITBS. Yeah, exactly. So I took a month off of running, and now I'm running again. I had just
ITBS.
had to like stretch it out.
ITBS.
There you go. That's
ITBS.
100%. Yeah, it's not TV, it's ITBS.
So when you were doing this, what's the longest you'd run before, you think?
I know, because I have this app called Runkeeper. I ran 10 miles once when I was living in New York City.
That was like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago, I just ran 10 miles, and that was the furthest I'd ever run in my life.
So you did this. Also, the cool thing about this marathon you ran was all started. I know about this because I did a hike with my friend, and we did it like really fast. We gained
Right.
like almost 2,000 feet of elevation, and we basically did 20-minute miles with a 2,000 foot elevation gain, which is pretty fucking goddamn fast. And
Very fast.
my ass was kicked after that day. I didn't even try to. I guess I just didn't stop to drink water because usually I stop when I'm drinking water. I didn't do it, so I got dehydrated. But my friend sent me. He kept track of the trip. He sent me the hiking the trails app
It's
picture
so
of it.
fun. Yeah,
And I
it's great.
posted it. And I was proud of it. I was like, I bet anyone dare anyone to beat this pace. And then someone added you on Twitter.
Yeah.
They're like, Brad Brooks can. I'm like, bullshit, Brooks can. And then you sent me this thing of your map of your run.
Yeah.
It was the marathon, but the marathon you ran was basically over the course of 3 miles, like Los Feliz Boulevard to Glendale, right?
Well, I did 2 10-mile loops and then 6 miles around my neighborhood. But then the
Yeah,
elevation gain,
that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, and then the
It's like the
elevate
dumbest thing I've ever seen.
it
When I
was
saw
it
that,
sucked.
I was like, only you would do something that stupid.
Well,
Like
I would
something,
get
it's so silly to see it because you're like, what the fuck is this? Oh, it's a person running back and forth. It's almost like running up and down the stairs, and you said you climbed a mountain. It's like, I guess you kind of did because you did it 1,200 times, you know?
No, it's exact
It's
well,
like,
the plan was to run 13.1 miles down the LA
right?
River Walkway, but I didn't, of course, do any
It's
research.
closed.
I didn't know it was closed.
Right.
And I'd start it, and I was like, "Okay, I guess we just do some loops." And I didn't think about how my loops were all up and down this like major hill. And
Yeah, it's
so,
pretty steep hill.
yeah. So
So you didn't,
I would want to do a marathon, a flat marathon. That would be nice sometime.
did you have any support at all
No, I would jog back to my apartment every 10 miles
and drink
and like
water?
pound a Gatorade.
It just seems like kind of crazy. I mean, do you know anything about Eddie Izzard?
I know that he's a comedian and he does all sorts of weird shit.
He ran 40 marathons in 40 days, I think, or maybe like some crazy amount of time.
Yeah.
He did like maybe 50 marathons in 50 days.
Yep.
And he said that the first one's the easiest one and the second one's the hardest.
I mean, I could believe that. My legs were pretty beat up the next
Right?
day. Yeah. I mean, like my legs just were not trained for it. So I
Yeah.
want to do a thing where I train correctly and then see how fast I could actually do it.
Because you did it in 4.
4 hours and 16 minutes. So I want to do a real one and try to do it under
Yeah.
3.5 hours.
At some point, were you ever walking?
Oh, towards the end, yeah. Like because my knees hurt so bad. There was like
Right?
I was like sitting on. I sat down a couple times
Okay.
because I was
I don't really
going.
know.
I banged through the first 20 miles pretty quick to where I had like almost like an hour and a half to do the last 6.
Mhm.
So
It's still amazing to me that you just did that. Like, that's like pretty
well,
fucking
you went
hardcore.
and did the thing. It's like this. It's like
Of
we
course,
like
you're
to do
fucking
stuff. We
frozen
like
right
to
now.
do.
Oh, no, I'm frozen. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. You do weird shit. You did that climb. That climb looks
Dude, I
cool as
can't.
hell. I want to do that.
Yeah, but
Jonathan.
something about a marathon to me, it's like the
Sure.
monotony of it is what.
Yeah, no, it was boring, but it wasn't even that boring, man. It was like, I was just listening to podcasts and jogging, which is what I like to do anyway. I was listening to this
Right.
podcast and I was jogging along and you were giving me the energy I needed.
Nice. I guess so. I mean, I don't know. To me, I think I would be so many. The part that it's a bet, I think I maybe wouldn't bail because it's a bet, but otherwise, it just feels like it would suck.
Yeah,
So
the whole
much.
thing. I mean, I was just also it's like a big like it was mostly I was told 300 times, "Oh, you can't do that." So that's why
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't quit. Like everyone's
Yeah.
like cuz I put it up like on Twitter like can I do that? Like I bet Nick $500 I could run the marathon in 4.5 hours. Was this a good bet? And it was like 90% no, 10% yes.
That's
And then just like
great.
hundreds of comments of like, you don't know what you're doing. This is
Ah,
bad. You're gonna tear an ACL. So I was just like
fuck
mostly
yes.
running to spite everybody.
Fuck
Uh,
all those. See, that's the kind of thing I love when people tell you you can't do something. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, it was really nice.
fuck you,
My
man.
Yeah, my friend texted me. He's like, you ruined a lot of people's personas as like marathon guys or whatever. He's like, just you doing that was kind of mean to them.
Yeah, I suppose it also is that thing where you realize a marathon isn't. It just sounds really hard. It's not.
Right. It didn't. It doesn't. My thing was, I'm not impressed with me. I'm just way less impressed with marathons.
Yeah, I think in my head even it's been held up quite a bit. When really, I think a marathon. I've gone running like probably like 30 or 40 times where I've done 7 miles.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, well, that feels pretty good. I don't feel like dying afterwards. I feel really good. And the only reason I haven't ever done a marathon is because I'm like, oh, I have to do the marathon. Like, it just seems like kind of an inconvenience more than anything.
Yeah, no, like especially like a real marathon where you have to wake up early and drive and find parking. Like I just like my marathon. I just
Oh
woke
my
up.
God, that's the best.
Yeah, I just woke up and started out of my front door and just was like,
Yeah.
okay, here we go.
You got to find parking. What's the worst thing about running a marathon? You got to find fucking parking in the morning with a bunch of
Yeah,
other adults,
yeah,
bunch of
exactly.
fucking sober idiots.
A bunch of nerds. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
because you're not sober. You like to drink beer and stuff.
Yeah, I drank that night with Turner until about 2 in the morning
You
before
mean
we hit.
after you ran it?
No,
Before?
before. Yeah, I went to bed around 2:30 or 3, and
What
Turner was
time did you
like, "Oh
start
my,
the marathon?
11."
11 a.m. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
but it was like I was just excited to do it.
This is all such great proof of like just how hardcore the human body is. It's such a fucking hardcore piece of equipment.
Yeah, and also like
So hard.
just like mentally, if you just want to spite someone,
Oh
you
my
will do
God.
anything. Yeah.
Oh my God. There's no almost no link they won't go to get back to prove someone wrong. It would just I have all the energy that exists to prove
Exactly.
someone wrong,
Yeah. No,
but
that's
not
100% what
yeah.
it is. I'm like, "Oh, you don't think I can do this? Wow. Okay.
Oh,
Now I
okay.
have to do it. Now I have to."
Yeah, fuck. Yeah. It's
Uh,
almost like that could be the fuel for the rest of the world, essentially.
right. Okay, I have a question for you. What
Sure.
is your favorite camping spot you've ever been to?
Camping spot? I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't been, okay.
But
As far
you're
as
an
like a
outdoors guy, but you don't camp as much.
well, okay, I've kind of started making this distinction. There is there's the broad umbrella of quote unquote camping, right?
Uh-huh.
There's also something I consider to be backpacking, which means
Oh, that's what I
you're
want to get into.
yeah, backcountry,
I've
backpacking.
never backpacked, and I want to so
Okay.
bad.
I've done much more backpacking than I have done camping.
Okay.
And to me, camping is just like, you have if you have especially for car camping isn't not really that's why I'm try to make the distinction between backpacking and camping because
Yeah,
camping is really fun and
I
easy and
car
like you can
yeah, I car camp and like I drink
yeah,
beer and grill and you and I
right,
went car camping up in Joshua Tree for that. We've done it
right.
well one time for sure. I don't know if we've done another time, but you slept on the ground without a sleeping bag, which I thought was wild.
Well, I had a sleeping bag. I didn't have a tent.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. I don't like tents anymore because I'm so used to camping in the Sierra during the summer where you don't need to have a tent at all because there's no bugs and
Yeah.
there's no rain. So it's like you just don't need it. And also, something about being in a tent kind of freaks me out a little bit, because it's like you feel kind of claustrophobic and it's
Mhm.
something about it. Some people
I
have the opposite where they feel secure in a tent, but
Yeah, I
it
love it.
makes me
I like a tent, but I also I like when it's raining and you got to be in your tent. Like
that's cool. Yeah.
I kind of like that. I like being forced in there. You're reading. You're in a little
Yeah.
pocket. Like that's fun for me.
Well, so my favorite camping spot, I guess I have two answers for that. As far as like camping, like a place that's actually you can kind of set up camp and maybe if you have a 4x4 or any kind of like slightly off-road vehicle you could probably get to, like maybe even a Subaru. There's this place up near Mammoth. There's a bunch of hot springs. If you turn off this road, it's called like the Green Church, I think. It's kind of famous. It's right
Okay.
off of 395,
Yeah,
whatever.
395 is my favorite. Like that's
Yeah.
how I always get to Yosemite is through Tuolumne.
Yeah, same with me. So if you go to this, if you turn off this place, there's a bunch of famous hot springs. There's one called the Crab Cooker. There's also one called, I think it's called Hot Ditch. There's also Hot Creek. Hot Creek is this really nice primitive tub that is kind of, it's not that hard. It's not hard to find as it should be, but it used to be harder to find, I think, or just was less known because of the internet.
Yep.
The first time we camped there, it's basically you camp on this little ridge above the where the hot creek is, and it has all these nice little pinon and juniper trees, and
Ooh,
there's a wood rat that lives there. This little like wood rat, you can look into his burrow and see all the things he's collected over the years.
that's fun.
And he'll kind of run around the campsite and steal shit from you at night.
Yeah,
But there's
like
a
what if you just
yeah.
look in there, it's nothing but like wedding rings. You're like, oh, wood rat.
For real, there's shit in there. It's like this little guy's been collecting shit. Who knows how many generations of wood rat? Because it's that kind of rock where it's definitely the kind of rock that's like volcanic. It's like crispity, crunchity kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That to me is the most relaxing campsite because you can build a fire there. You're kind of secluded, but you're also just about a 3 minute walk down to this beautiful hot spring. And
Wow.
so but you're up on this little bit of a hill. You can look out over the field, and in the morning at dawn, when you can see all these little steam vents on the horizon, where because who knows how many hundreds of little tiny hot springs, not big enough to get into, but you can see them just like
Yeah.
puffing up everywhere. Yeah, I
Wow.
don't know.
I'm gonna
That
go
to me
there.
is a great campsite. Yeah,
I'm going there for sure as soon as because I was trying to go camping last weekend, but everything shut down,
right.
even Bureau of Land Management.
Well,
Uh,
that's BLM land right there.
yeah, even that's shut down
Yeah.
because I was trying to go to the Alabama Hills.
Yeah, how can they shut down BLM land? It's like shutting down the sky,
That's
right?
what I thought. Well, here's the thing. I bet if you, here's what I didn't want to do. I was like 80% sure I could still go camping there, but I didn't want to drive 3 hours to find out they somehow did shut it down and have to come home.
But how can they shut it down? They can't. They can't shut
I,
down all the
I don't know.
roads.
I went to a website and it said California Bureau of Land Management land is shut down until May 15th. Like it said that on the internet. So I don't know.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was a bummer, but that
Also,
sounds incredible.
none of the people who are enforcing these things are working.
I know. Look, man, I should have gone and I didn't go.
Well, I'm just saying that more because I'm thinking about doing the same thing. I kind of think it might be a cool time to you hike into Yosemite through a wilderness area
Yeah, that'd
because
be
obviously
incredible.
the park is closed, but you can get into the park through the wilderness. How cool would it be to park some crazy little place, hike in through the Ansel Adams Wilderness, go over one of those passes, and drop into the fucking Yosemite Canyon? Well, there's
I
no
mean,
tourists. Not a single tourist there right now.
I know it would be the most incredible. That sounds like the best thing that I've ever heard of.
Might be worth getting arrested, actually.
It'd be pretty dope
Think
because
about it.
yeah,
You're in Yosemite Canyon. You're in the fucking probably one of the most pristine, gorgeous. It's one of the most gorgeous canyons in the entire world,
yeah.
and you get to see it in a way that no one has seen it in 110 years, maybe. What? How long has it been since that place
Yeah, I
hasn't been
mean, I know
overrun?
it was the like second national park, but like
Yeah,
1890 for sure. 1870s is when those people started like rolling in. John Muir, I think. I don't know, but that sounds like the coolest thing ever. And the coolest part about that is we'd have to do it like tomorrow because you need permits and you have to get those early to go backpacking through there.
yeah. But you wouldn't need any permits. You'd be doing
That's
it
what I'm saying.
legally.
We would need to go like tomorrow if we did it
Why?
because it's going to open back up May 15th.
It's not going to open back up. They're probably just going to extend the deadline.
Ooh,
Don't you
well, we
think?
should.
I mean, we don't know that, but everything so far has been, we'll open back up May 15th, and it's like May 14th comes around. It's like we have to extend it
Yeah.
because blah blah blah.
I think if we have to extend it on May 14th, it's going to break everyone in a way that you and I should definitely go do this.
Yeah, but you're right though, because even if it does get extended, people are just going to be like, "Fuck it, I'm dying.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean, like,
dying of
dude,
not dying."
I love Yosemite so much. Cornell and I went up there this
Uh huh.
winter. It was like the most beautiful. Like we went during
The
like this
winter.
blizzard. Yeah, we went in the winter. It was a blizzard. I'll
Do you have
send
a
you.
4x4?
Well, I just have the all-wheel drive Sub.
Okay,
Um,
so do you know the difference between all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive? I don't know the difference.
Well, if all-wheel drive means you can like turn it to where it's all four like a four-wheel drive means you can make all four tires go at once. All-wheel drive is like if it needs to, it'll like make all four wheels go. It's
It's like a
not
differential
ideal.
thing.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
this is my background now. That's like when we were there. I'll text it to you. But
Looks
it
like a
was like
stock background, dude. Looks like a total stock background.
it was so it was
Isn't
the
that
most
funny?
was the most
When you go a
incredible
place
thing.
that's so pretty, it looks stock.
Yeah, because everyone got blizzarded out of there. But it was great.
Oh,
I just camped in Canyonlands. That's where I went. It's my new favorite national park.
yeah, that's
Besides,
supposed to be one of the most beautiful places in the world.
it was great. Glacier National Park is my favorite, and
That's
then probably
Alaska.
it's Montana and Canada.
Oh, right, it's Montana. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, that talk about fucking BFE. That's the real shit right there, man.
yeah.
They still have
It's
grizzly. They
awesome.
have grizzlies there.
Yeah, no, it was legit. I feel like Glacier is, you know how Yosemite has like the one grand valley?
There's
Like I
two
feel
of
like
them. There's two.
Hetch
There's a s
Hetchy.
there's one that's the other side of it that's not as popular, but it's still. I we went hiking up there about 2 years ago, and it's almost as impressive as Yosemite Valley, evidently.
Okay. Well, Glacier has just like 5 to 10 like smaller types of valleys. So
Right?
it's just like really less populated everywhere. And it was like the coolest, like, 8 days ever.
Yeah, Montana is one of those places that's like people who love it, people who go there, they kind of never come back.
Dude,
They
it was
just love it
insane.
so much.
It was
You know that
so,
writer Jim Harrison? Do you know him?
no.
You probably love him. I've been thinking about him a lot lately, but he's this writer. He died about 2 or 3 years ago. He um he wrote The Legends of the Fall. He wrote a bunch of other books, but he was a
Okay.
hardcore conservationist, but also like a he was a drunk, but and also used to smoke cigarettes, like chain smoke cigarettes, and he was good friends with Mario Batali because he would fucking eat shitloads of. He was a gourmet, right? He would just
Yeah.
gorge on all this rich food, but he was hardcore nature guy, right? He grew up in Michigan, and he like would go camping all the time with just like a trash bag and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he lived in Montana for a lot of his life, and I think what's his name uh that book is set in Montana. The Legends of the Fall is set in
Right. Yeah.
Montana, right? And
Well, I
he
mean,
just talks
I don't
about
know the book. I just know the movie
right. Well, the book's obviously a lot different
based
than
on
the
the
movie, but
movie. He saw
right,
the
yes,
movie, then he
it's
wrote the book.
based on the movie.
Yeah.
It's really interesting the stuff he talks about. Just how how Montana is just so it's so wild and it's so extreme compared to other places in terms of like just the
Yeah.
sheer numbers and the space of everything.
I mean, I've only been twice, and
Mhm.
only one of the times was camping. It was so incredible. Have you ever been to the Tetons?
I haven't. No,
That's like my favorite. That's like probably the most beautiful, picturesque thing I've ever seen.
I've only been a few places actually. I really have. Pretty much only been to a bunch of places in Yosemite, and that's it as far as like backpacking goes. Like seeing the real heavy shit
Yeah,
is up there. Like I've been in the John Muir Woods a little bit. I've been to Ansel Adams Wilderness a little bit. All through Tuolumne Meadows essentially.
yeah. That's. I mean, dude, that's where I go camping when I like go,
Hmm.
because that's like the only place in Yosemite where you can like non-reservation get a spot.
Hmm.
You just got to be there
So
like fucking 6 a.m.
yeah, but you'll go in with like a tent and you'll camp out in there for a couple of nights or what?
Yeah, yeah. You have car like there's a site, like I'll find like a car
Oh,
site.
okay. So you've never been backpacking, have you?
No, not once ever,
Okay.
and I really want to. It sounds so fun.
See, I think that's really the for me
Well,
that's the first
I,
time I did it I was really scared, but when you do it it's so something about it. It's very freeing because
I
you're all you have is what you have.
I take it back. I did go backpacking, but it was with I didn't set it up. It was when I was in high school with my
Okay.
grandpa and his brother and my cousin and my uncle, and
That
that
doesn't
was like
count.
it was yeah. It doesn't. It was wild though. We went up. Yeah, we went to Quetico National Park in Canada and
Oh,
like
there's a
portaged in,
stereo
and then
there.
camped on an island where there was this
Whoa.
national park where no motors are allowed, like no motors ever. So we just paddled around, fished, and ate fish at night, and then camped on this island. It was
Damn.
like I
Is this
hated it so much because I was missing like a party, I'm sure.
yeah.
But now as an adult, I'm like, man, that was probably really cool.
Is that near Michigan or near Wisconsin or
It's
where?
north of. We drove straight through Minnesota. It's like right
Oh,
on top
fuck.
of Minnesota
Damn. So that's like a 12-hour drive, man.
from where I am. Yeah, they're from
Yeah.
Missouri, and they would pick me up on the way. And yeah, it was way the
Wow.
fuck up.
There was a camping thing I did in Minnesota once, which is probably one of the first times I ever went camping for real. There's a place called Blueberry Slide. I can't remember the name of the woodland area it is in Minnesota, but it's like north of Minneapolis by about, you know what it is? It's the Kettle River. There's these big ass fucking things called kettles, and these big, perfectly circular holes next to the river that have formed from like years and years of water draining down them.
Oh yeah, no, so when I do Minneapolis, yes. So when I perform at like when I'm in at do Acme,
Uh-huh.
I'll go over to like Lacrosse or whatever, and like I
Right.
saw it's like Saint Marie or some
Well, they're
French
they're
word on the
everywhere. They're all
yeah,
over the
and
place.
I
Yeah.
saw those things. They're insane because like little pebbles get
Yeah.
stuck down and they just like make bigger and bigger holes.
And it's these massive, perfect, circular holes. And
Yeah.
we went camping at this place called Blueberry Slide. It's on the Kettle River, and this you have to take a canoe to the campsite. It's only like maybe like a 5 minute canoe thing, but just the fact you have to do that makes it like, you're not in a place accessible by a car, so it
Car.
just makes
Yeah.
it that much nicer. You have a fire and everything. On the way there, we picked up a couple of jugs of this water called Buhl. It's Buhl. It's this excuse me, it's artesian well water, and it's probably the best tasting water I've ever had in my life. It's called aside from like natural springs in Yosemite, but we
Sure.
got some of that. We stopped at some little fucking shitty grocery store that had fresh baked bread, and got this loaf of rye bread that probably was cooked like maybe an hour before we picked it up. And they got a huge out of this white bucket, got a big stalk of a big bouquet of dill. So the next morning we had breakfast. We had this fucking delicious ass bread with it's honestly was some of the best bread I've ever had in my entire life. I was just thinking about this yesterday.
Dude,
That bread with we caught fish, we caught some walleye and grilled it up in a pan with eggs and potatoes and put the dill in there. And that shit was like
I
that was
mean,
legendary.
there's nothing better than camping food, like food that you prepare while you're camping because you feel
Yeah.
like you really earned it. And then if you
Mhm.
add on top of it fish that you caught
Oh yeah.
yourself, it's like you're like, this is the best. This like I can't imagine like a better tasting
Yeah.
food than a thing that you've completely earned.
The only problem is my friend Patrick, who ends up doing a lot of the cooking. He just likes to steam the fish, and I always want to cook them in like butter or grease or something.
Yeah, I like to grill it.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
fucking fried fish.
okay, here's a question for you. Since we both grew up like a little in the woods a little bit, like I didn't grow
Right?
up camping at all, and I
Me
hated
neither.
camping because I
Yeah,
was like, I
same.
already live in the woods. Fuck this. I want to be in a city. It took me getting to Los Angeles to be like, wait, I want to go out into the woods.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar, I suppose, in that sense. Where I think for me it was going out with Patrick, my friend Patrick, and having kind of just seeing stuff, and also kind of following him, and he is doing something, and I'm saying, "Is this okay? You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, it's fine. This is fine."
Yeah, no,
And
it
like,
does take that friend. Yeah, for
yeah,
me, it was
someone
Andy Haynes took me to Joshua Tree a bunch one
right?
summer, and we just can't. And I'd never camped, and he just like and I just like got obsessed with it because it was like a place to go. I had anxiety, and then he was like, "Let's go to Joshua Tree." And I was like, "This is great."
Yeah, sometimes I actually do also get anxiety when I'm out in the woods because you're away from everything. You feel so disconnected. It's kind of like it's unsettling
I like
because,
it. I like get
yeah,
excited with the
really.
with like yeah, because like I don't know, I'm just like just
Don't you ever
really
feel like something's
enjoy
gonna happen? Like something's gonna happen and you're gonna be like unreachable, and you get
that.
worried about
That's I
that,
mean
maybe.
that's the idea. Yeah, I hope so.
Right, it's the idea, but it's also it's both. It's a thing where it's the reason you go, but also it's the part of the. For me, sometimes it creates anxiety, especially if I leave cell reception and I have something like unfinished business, or I forgot to, oh, if I have to do this thing or tell this person
Mhm.
this thing, and then I'm like the whole time I'm out, like, oh fuck. It's
Yeah,
happened to me.
no,
Happened once at least.
I I'll leave and then like when I come back and you like your phone kicks on after you've
Hmm.
been gone like 5 days and then it's just like oh that just really slams you in the face. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah,
like
I hate it.
nothing but work emails and you're like fuck.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to spread that out a little bit. But I really I like being I've really bad like who doesn't right now like attention ADD
Hmm.
with my phone, you know, like I like to
Yeah.
read, but like I'll read 2 pages and check my phone. And I'll read two
Yeah.
pages and check my phone. And it's embarrassing. And that's why I like camping. I was like, there's nothing on there. I can't check anything. So I focus a lot better.
Have you tried doing one of my no phone days?
No, I haven't. What is this no phone day?
You just pick a day. You don't use your phone all day. Basically, how it works is a good day is Sunday.
Mhm.
On Saturday night before you go to bed is the last time you look at your phone. And then you put it on airplane mode and you just throw it someplace like in the bottom of your hamper or someplace just so you won't even be tempted to look at it, or it takes a lot of physical effort to look at it. And you leave it there for the entire day. And the next time you look at your phone is on Monday morning when you wake up.
I like that.
I
That
think what
sounds
it
that's
does, yeah, because I have a similar problem a lot of times, and I find that what it does is um, it kind of resets your brain in terms of how, like, your brain forgets that always there to look at, and you start doing other stuff.
yeah. I guess that's probably why I like camping so much is that I
Yeah,
lose the ability to look online or reach out
yeah.
to people.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what it is to me. 'Cause people are always sometimes I'll use Twitter when I'm on no phone day. People say, "Isn't it no phone day?" I'm like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I'm using it on the web-based client," which makes it way
yeah,
less invasive. Also, the whole idea of to me, the problem with the phone is that you can look up anything you think about, and it
yep.
allows you to
You don't
just
have to
have any
think.
sort of
Yeah,
yeah,
there's no like the best part of like college was like scream debates in my, drunk in my apartment, like where it was just like dumb arguments because I live with like-minded guys who was like what like a dumb question is like what is the average high temperature in Iowa during the summer, and then
right,
I'd be like on an average high would be 88, and then my friend's like fuck you, it's 81, and then like that fight and fight and fight. And then we would go to a computer and look it up like after an hour. But now with the
right,
phone, it's let's look. Why would we even debate this?
right away, right away.
Exactly. You know what I did just finish like yesterday that I spent about a year on that I'm pretty
What's
proud
that?
of? The Game of Thrones books.
Oh, you're a Game of Thrones book guy.
No, I'm not. I
Well,
about
now you are. Now you
half
are.
exactly halfway through, I decided I wanted to quit, but I was like, I read like 2,500
Mhm.
pages. I got to finish this, and then it just took me like 9 months to finish the last 2.5 books, and they are just so goddamn long. And the
But they're
show
great,
does
right?
they're fine. They're just so long, man. The show does a great job. It's one of those. If you watch the show, don't waste your time.
Wow. What a crazy commitment.
Dude, it was so long. Like I finished it, and like honestly, I like opened a beer and was like, I felt like I'd finished a long day at work. And like
Damn.
he writes some really like when I was camping in Canyonlands, I almost threw it in the fire because he writes some really graphically uh
Sexual stuff, right?
sexual rape stuff,
Mhm.
like in a way that like I'm like I didn't sign up to read this vivid portrayal of a character I've grown to like being raped.
Yeah.
And so I was like kind of mad at it for a few days, and it just like put me in such a bad sad mood. I was like, this is a nightmare. Like,
He's kind of a nihilist in that sense. He's very much like
yeah,
that's what I like about all those things is how he just oh, you like this person? Guess what? They're dead because that's what happens to things. Sometimes they just die.
no, and they're not even dead. They're raped over and over and over and
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah, not even
They
just
starve.
dead. They don't
Then
even
they
get the
eat.
pleasure of death.
Then
They
they
get the
eat their fingers because they're starving.
God.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild. Like I was over it after that. But now I'm like now I'm back. I'm back to like also I feel like those books are kind of like you and I like to read, but I kind of like to learn a little bit. Like I like to read,
Yeah.
like history stuff. And I felt like I was just reading The Big Bang Theory, like the TV show. I was like, I
Okay.
want some substance. So what do you
Yeah.
got? What does Johnny Pemberton recommend for to get
I'm
back
kind
into
of
something good?
I don't know, man. I always recommend the same shit all the goddamn time. I'm like in a dearth. I'm trying to read this book right now called it's a Rogan book basically. It's Empire of the Summer Moon, I think. It's about the Comanches, the history of the Comanche.
That sounds perfect. That
It's
sounds
really
great.
good. It's super interesting. It's also the guy who writes it makes everything very dramatic, and it's the kind of stuff where you like, holy fucking shit! The Comanches were so hardcore. They
Yeah.
were just, and also
What's
he talks about. What, go ahead. What you gonna say?
Who's the author? Can you think of him off of your top of your head?
I can just look it up here. It's
Okay.
something like, he's got one of those classic great names, um, like SC Gwynn.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say
Empire.
S.E. Hinton. I was like, The
No,
Outsiders?
it's Empire of the Summer Moon. Yeah, it's a bestseller. It's a super well-known
Okay.
book.
I gotta check it out.
Hmm.
Gabs was telling me I have to read that book. I think it's called like Oil. Like it's what like There Will Be Blood was based off or something.
Oh, I don't know about that at all. No.
I don't know. It looks good.
Yeah.
My favorite guy that I think you might dig because he writes similar to how you're speaking is
Right.
this dude. Now before he used to write like about explorers. Now he's teamed up with Bill O'Reilly, and I don't like that at all. But his earlier books are pretty cool. His name's Martin Dugard, and he wrote like this
Hmm.
really great book about like Columbus's last voyage, where he like shipwrecked in Jamaica, and
Oh,
like
that
he
sounds
like
cool.
yeah, and like he like the natives were gonna kill him, and then he knew that there was a blood moon coming, and he was like, tonight my God is gonna like wash the moon with blood, and just because he knew celestial
Yeah.
situations, and then they had to row a boat to the Dominican Republic from Jamaica to get off. Like, it's insane. And he just
I do
writes about
love
like,
maritime adventure stuff a lot. I really
yeah.
do.
And the best book, my favorite book ever, like is called James the Rise and Fall of James Cook. It's by this guy, Martin Dugard. You will love it. It is
That's about
my favorite.
the he's a what do you call it?
James James Cook
A
is like
sailor. He's
the
a sailor.
yeah, he's
A
like the
captain.
yeah, he's like the greatest explorer of all time because
Right.
he discovered the most stuff. Because he was the only, like
Yeah.
every other explorer, like Columbus was after gold, Magellan was after the Spice Islands. I mean, everybody was after the Spice Islands. Everybody's after something. Everybody's after something. And James Cook was the only one who was. They were like, okay, go to Tahiti, map the transit of Venus. It's a
Hmm.
scientific exploration, and then after that, why don't you fuck around for a while and come back in a few years? And so
I've
he's
heard
doing,
about this actually. I have. Yeah.
yeah, it's incredible. It's so fucking good.
Okay.
It's like my
That's on the
favorite book.
list now because
Yeah,
I
and
was thinking about. You never ever read the book Endurance? It's the
that's the same
one.
guy. Martin Dugard wrote that.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't him.
Well, he wrote it. Okay, he I never. Isn't that a book about
About
the like?
Shackleton's.
Oh no.
That's
Martin Dugard wrote a
Alf.
book. He wrote a book about like where you go across the ocean in a boat by yourself or something. I thought it was called
Okay.
that.
Endurance is about the 1910 Antarctic expedition led by Ernst Shackleton. And
Right.
it's like
No,
this failed expedition that also
that they had to
1914,
like.
sorry.
Yeah, then they
1914.
had to like climb over like the what are those islands? The Falkland Islands and
Yeah.
shit.
Have you read it?
No, it sounds
It is,
amazing.
I think still to this day, it's probably the greatest adventure story ever. It's not, it's real, but it's the greatest
Yeah.
adventure story that's ever existed because it's
Okay.
like this weird combination of 1914 is that perfect time where there's a little bit of technology, just enough to where we can kind of relate to it as humans. It doesn't feel like it's the 1400s, but it's also before there was. Here's what it makes it great. It's just recent enough to where there's about 20 or 30 of these amazing photographs from the expedition that are unbelievable. So there's
Right.
photos of it, there's photo proof of it, but the actual tale itself is just it's
Yeah,
so unbelievable, man.
I've seen
It
like
kind of goes back to your whole thing with your marathon where it's like these guys did something that they should have been dead 20 times over. They really should have.
yeah, I will read that because I watched like a 3-part BBC
Mhm.
like docu series on it, and it was just like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. But I did have not read it, and I doubt it's like Game of Thrones where the BBC is better than the book.
Yeah, I mean, well, this guy is probably it's probably based on his interpretation of it. Also, all these fucking guys back then. This is what always gets me. I think about this all the time. Each and every one of these guys kept a journal and they wrote in it every day, no matter what. And this is like sometimes it's just a few lines because they're chipping off of the ice off of a lifeboat, but they're
Yeah.
writing in a journal. And like,
Yep.
think of how many times you've been, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I'm tired." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like you get back after a show
Yeah.
and you're like, I should write down that thing I riffed, and you're like, but I just kind of
Nah.
want to watch TV right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this I really like explorers. There's a really good podcast where right now they're doing the Burke and Wills expedition. Have you ever heard of this?
No, I
It's
haven't.
So it's where it's the podcast is called the Explorers Podcast is what it's called, and he did like a 7-part, 45 minutes each part series on Lewis and Clark. So it's like super in depth. It's incredible, but the Burke and Wills was Australia's version of Lewis and Clark. Only they did a terrible job, and everyone died.
Oh shit, that's great to see that to hear the terrible job stuff.
Yeah. So it's like really, really funny. Like it's not funny; they all died, but just like they're just big idiots. Australians, every single one of them. I mean,
yeah, man. God, can you imagine how? Are you ever going to go back to Australia? Think? Have you ever done stand up in Australia?
I have. I've done stand up in Melbourne. I go with that hard R twice. I've been to Tasmania. That's the coolest place I've ever been in my life. Wow. Actually, it was really incredible.
Did you go to Tasmania when you were down there for comedy?
Yeah, because it's just like
you might as well go because you're there.
It's like a 45-minute flight from Melbourne over to Tasmania across the Bass Strait.
Yeah, Duncan and I are supposed to go to Australia in July, but I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Australia in general is fine, but Tasmania felt like it was like Australia's Alaska. It felt like it was so fucking cool.
I can't wait to go back there. I think it's one of the best places in the entire world.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. I mean, they're pretty racist and homophobic, but once you get past that,
honestly, I did not experience that at all.
I just remember when I was there, like last year, they were voting on should gay people be able to get married.
Well,
and I was like,
that's Tasmania, not
no.
Australia.
This was in Melbourne. Like this was Australia.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're a bunch of convicts, so what do you expect?
100%. Yeah. No, that's like, dude. Tasmania even was like, so if you were sent to Australia but you didn't stop being a convict, they sent you to Tasmania. So that was like really wild shit.
Round 2.
Yeah.
What do you think about stand up? Do you think do you feel like you're gonna go back to stand up?
Well, what really sucks was I had scheduled to film my first special at Best Fish Taco on April 2nd.
At Best Fish Taco, really?
Yeah, it was going to be called Live at Best Fish Taco, and I was just going to do 2 shows outside. And I had toured for about 4 months, like almost every weekend to get ready for it.
Oh, so you were fucking greased.
Yeah, I had like I was so excited for this hour. I loved it. I was so proud of it.
Sucks. That really does suck. It's one of those things that like.
Yeah, it's like not, like there's way bigger problems, but like it's I want to record this, but like when when we do get to come back in, a year or 2, like I'm going to have to, go tour for 6 months to figure out how the fuck to do stand up post this and figure
Well, everyone is. Do you think about that too? Do you think that people are going to quit stand up? A lot of people.
I think this is what a lot of people need it to quit, who are like, I haven't quit, but like they weren't really doing it anymore, and now they have like a reason.
What I meant to say.
Yeah, a lot of people who weren't really doing it anymore, but still said they were. Now we're like, oh, stand up's done, and I'm like, well, I kind of do like it, and I hope that's not true.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep wondering. It's one of those things where, like, sure, stuff will come back eventually, but it's going to be so different and going to be so gradual. It's like, how do you deal with that? It's almost like, is it? Well, obviously, it is worth it because it's like a thing where live performance is like a very, very primitive thing, and so people will do it. But you know what I mean? It's like the reingratiation of it's going to be so gradual and slow.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend who's in a band, who's like he's the singer in this band, Local Natives. His name's Kelsey Ayers. He's really nice, and we were just talking about it because like for us as stand-ups, we have to deal with on a great night 300 to 400 people, you know what I mean? But like for him and his band, they play festivals where it's 80,000 people and they're sweating on each other. Like
bands are fucked so hard.
That's what he was like. He's like, this is really, he's like, I think that stand up at least we'll be able to like figure out a little bit quicker maybe. And I might just try to like dart in and record that Best Fish Taco special. Cause like, at least it's outside. I don't know what, but all I know is I want to get that down sometime in the next, whenever it's available. But like,
I guess what
live concerts are really fucked.
Yeah. What I keep thinking is not so much about like, can you do it? But what's the atmosphere going to be like when you do it? Is it going to
Yeah.
be how are people going to be feeling going to a thing? Are they going to be so encumbered by thinking about this that they're not going to be able to enjoy it, or like not to be able to? It's not going to be the
Yeah.
same type of audience. I feel
No,
like.
all it makes me mad at is that I didn't become a alt-right comedian 2 years ago, because those are the only people who will come out and be like, "Yeah, fuck it. We're getting together no matter what."
Yeah. What if they're right though? Seriously, what if they're
I
right? I mean, part of me is kind of like some of the stay-at-home stuff seems a little extreme to me. It seems a little bit like I don't know, deciding something really significant too soon that is never been done before that people really can't handle because we're such
Right.
social creatures.
Well, I mean, like, I my thing is, like, I definitely leave my house and I go to, like, the woods, and I go, like, to places where there aren't people and get out. So I'm not definitely just staying at home, and I'll
Yeah.
put a mask on just, as a politeness when I'm around other people.
Yeah,
You know
me
what I
too.
mean?
That's the whole point of it though. It is.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm not like staying at home in the way that you're supposed to by any means, but at the same time, I'm not making anybody feel uncomfortable or I
Yeah.
remember I would drive down to Malibu and like park on PCH, me and Gabs, and we just like have a picnic and watch like whales. Like we saw whales going by. Like nature is
Yeah.
fucking bouncing back quick. It's dope.
Yeah.
And, and they got like silver pack that PCH became the beach, but I'm like, we'll just stay over here. And a guy like walked by and touched me. I was like, well, don't touch somebody. Like
What do you
that's
mean touch you?
insane.
Like he reached out and touched you, or just
No,
bumped
just
onto
like
you?
bumped me where I like was just sitting on a blanket, like I'm like, dude, you can't do that. That is real
Yeah,
nuts.
but it's also nuts that we have to even say that and think that, isn't it?
It's everything is nuts right now. This is the
Mhm.
weirdest thing I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, man. But
What's your plan? What do you, I mean, like you act in, well, also like acting's like, when is that
acting's
coming back?
fuck. Acting's no, it's not coming back. It's coming. You know when it's coming back? It's coming back when it comes back.
Yeah.
Everything is fucked. Everything is like everything's supposed to come back. All these things are planning on business as usual, like filming for, let's just say Superstore, right? They'll start back up again in end of summer, tentatively. That's the idea. But there's all these things that are just they're planning on. Like I have to go to two weddings in Minnesota. One's in September, one's in October. Will I be able to go to those? Probably, but also I don't know. You know what I
You
mean?
know,
It's like a
you
thing where
Yeah. You know, a thing that me and Rutherford were talking about, that of course we won't do, but like we're just like, because you should come meet me in Rutherford. We have this place in Atwater. We ride our bikes to it. It's
uh
probably not
huh.
too far from you,
Yeah,
where we call it Bat Point, and we look at bats at night and have a few beers, and
I'm
it's
down
really
for
fun.
that.
Yeah. Do you know that new bridge on the 5 that like
Don't talk
white?
about it too much.
Okay. 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 But either
Okay.
way, like, so we go there at night and it's
Wait
really
a second.
fun.
Hold on. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just telling you, you got to come and we'll sit
Okay.
there. We had this conversation about like, me, him, his girlfriend, and my girlfriend Gabrielle, we should like, he's like, fuck it. Like, what if we just went to Hawaii on secret for a week? Like, didn't tell anybody. Like, there's still planes going. We'll
Guess
just
what
go.
though?
What?
Hawaii has a very strict quarantine.
Oh, really? They're not letting people like in and shit?
If you go to Hawaii, you have to stay there for actual quarantine for 2 weeks, and you can't island hop. You can't go between islands in Hawaii unless you spend a 2 week quarantine. So if you want to go to Hawaii, you have to spend like 3 weeks or a month in Hawaii, which isn't too bad, but at the same time,
Right. No.
know,
Also, it's like really irresponsible and kind of to
yeah,
fly somewhere. But it was just, like, we were just like, let's just do it. Let's just go. Like, but then of course we didn't, because that's a jerk thing to do.
yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where some person would tell you it's not, some person would tell you it is, and it's kind of like
Yeah. Well,
the
Gabs and I, like, we went to the wildflowers and they were really, really great and like got some cool pics. But I was like, I'll wait to post them till after the flowers are dead, because I don't want to send more people towards this thing.
Did you see a lot of people out there?
It wasn't bad at all. We went on a Thursday and it was pretty open. Gabs yelled at like 2 different groups of people for like getting off the path. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, stop it. You're not going to have to fight them. I will have to, it's going to suck. Don't yell at people.
I
But,
kind of don't care about the flower. I have a new viewpoint on the flowers.
yeah. What is it?
Just fucking trample them. They're fine. Honestly, they're fucking fine. You
Yeah.
can't you
Okay.
can't destroy those. There's no way to destroy. I think all that stuff, people being like, these influencers are destroying these poppy fields. Like, no, they're fucking not. They couldn't do it if they wanted to.
All right, I like your attitude, but we went and had a nice time, but I didn't want to
Mhm.
like post a photo about it to send like more people there.
I
'Cause it
get. I
was-
know you're. I get your rationale. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
think
it
that a
was,
lot of
like, it was nice. It was just really nice how like not many people were there.
Mhm. Yeah, I've never been out there. I don't think I would like it. I don't. A lot of stuff like a lot of nature stuff. I don't like it unless there's no there's nobody there.
Oh, totally. But the thing is, like, I don't think I would have liked it if we weren't in the quarantine and I didn't just like enjoy the drive. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
Like,
true.
I
Yeah.
have never like enjoyed, like, that's the one thing that's nice about it is like you can get around LA so fucking quick right now.
Yeah, it's changing pretty fast though, man. I gotta say,
People,
traffic's been picking up pretty significantly.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
People are over this.
yeah, they're. I think I'm losing my right ear. They're over it. They're over it, baby.
They're over it. They're done.
We got any other
Um,
activities planned? We'll wrap it up. We'll start to wrap it up here.
I'm gonna go for a jog after this, and then
Okay.
I think the plan was to try to go camping somewhere this weekend. I don't know.
Just you and Gabs?
Yeah, I mean, we don't hang out with anybody else really. I mean, I just hang out
Right.
with Rutherford at Bat Point. If you want to come down to Bat Point, well, I actually have to do work tonight, but maybe tomorrow. Bat Point it up.
But you stay apart?
Yeah, we just like sit there and talk, and we play this game called Ticket to Ride on our phones. It's fun.
Oh, okay. A phone game.
Yeah,
Ticket to Ride's a good game, I hear.
it's very fun. You would enjoy it. You build trains and you look at a map. It seems
Nice.
stuff that's right up your alley. What about you? What's your post-quarantine plan?
Honestly, I don't really have a post-quarantine plan.
I'm saying like a thing that you're like, as soon as I can, I want to go do this.
There's so many things. It's kind of like it's like a glut. Like I want to do everything. I want to.
Have you ever gone to the tubing with Doug at that place?
I
in
have.
Cleveland?
I don't like that shit, man. That shit scares me. It feels like I don't want to fucking drown in the Kern River.
All
I really
right, fine.
don't.
Okay,
I've
so
done it. I've done the tubing. I have. I have tubed the Kern. I love it, but at the same time, I'm also. I don't know. Some about water stuff freaks me out when it's dangerous because I just feel like it's not the place that I really feel super comfortable. You know.
yeah, no, I mean
Just
we're
like moving. There's so many people dying so often. I just don't want to be. I just don't want to end up that way.
yeah. Last time a person in our group's tube caught on a dam and it pulled the tube under, and she went underneath the dam. Like it was.
There you go. Great. Super
terrifying.
cool. Yeah, that's fucking. I'm not interested in being terrified with a bunch of people who are like,
Stoned out of their mind.
yeah, and also being really glibly, whatever you call it, just kind of unaware. Kind of people who I'd rather be like out someplace super fucking blasted and remote as opposed to die with cell service. You know what I mean?
Yeah, die next to the road. I get that.
I do really want to go to Australia though, for real. I want to go to fucking Australia.
Where are you
I
gonna
would
go
love to go to
there?
Australia, drink a bunch of Cooper's ale and that kind of shit.
You know what I've been drinking since I've been listening to that podcast about Burke and Will's expedition is Foster's.
Really?
I've been like enjoying it because how big do you think how much fluid do you think is in one of those cans? We'll do a game where we don't look it up like old times.
36 ounces.
It's 750 milliliters. It's a bottle of wine.
So that's I don't know what that is, but that's close to 36 ounces, isn't it?
I have no idea. We're going to do the thing where we look it up. But the fact that one of those cans is a bottle of wine is so crazy to me.
Yeah. Because that's 750 mils. 750 mils, it's 3/4 of a liter.
It's 25.4 ounces.
25.4 ounces. So it's a bit shy of what I said there, but it's quite a bit.
You got a
I want to
good
go to
Australian
fucking
accent.
Australia.
My Australian accent always has to start with "oi." That just gets me in the right headspace. Oi.
Oh, you're doing Australia tonight? That sounds great. We'll be there. We'd love to see you. Outstanding. Wonderful.
Wow,
Great
yours is
great
really
to be here.
Yours is
That's
great.
It's not that good. It used to be so fucking good.
Oh, yours is fantastic.
Dude, I
I
used
can
to have
only
it down. I used to have
man,
it fucking down.
I can only be an upset Australian. Oi,
Upset. Oh, you want some Coopers?
oi.
That's not Australian.
In Australia, everybody calls me Brooksy, and it's the only place I'm not mad. Like my
Oh,
mom can call me
Brooksy.
Brooksy. Oh,
Brooksy.
oi, it's Brooksy. Oh, hey, another pint, Brooksy. Oh
You know
man,
what
I
I want to
love.
do, man? I want to go to New Zealand. How about that? I've been to
Oh,
New Zealand once. I want to go back and do it for real. I want to go to the North Island. Go to the
yeah,
North Island. I want to do a wine trip and go backpacking in New Zealand and eat a bunch of
dude.
fucking lamb kebabs.
That's what Tasmania was. Tasmania is all wine and oysters. So the
Ooh,
whole island is a tourist island where they just make wine and there's
yeah.
oysters all around it. It felt very New Zealand-esque, only I heard New Zealand is like more beautiful, even though
New
Tasmania.
Zealand is just stunning. The people there are just, the greatest, happiest motherfuckers on the, it's great. It's a
Yeah.
fucking outstanding place. I love Australia.
Yeah. Well, Gabs and I were talking about we were gonna go to like before all this went down to like Thailand. Like
Yeah,
over there.
Thailand's on
I've
the
never
list
been
too, man.
All right. Well, we'll get to these places someday.
We'll get to there.
We'll get to there.
Anything you want to say? Anything you want to tell people? Like, hey, if you like Brooks, you can get more Brooks here.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing I am still doing, the reason I have the new microphone is my podcast Entry Level, which Johnny, you have been on,
Yes,
where
I have.
I interview a bunch of our friends, comics, musicians, and like pro wrestlers, artists about all the jobs they had before they got to quit and go full time into their whatever field. And maybe I'll get to flip it around and talk about what the day everyone had to start working real jobs again.
Oh yeah.
Quarantine. Yeah.
It's a great idea, Brooks. Good idea. Great idea. It's going to happen. It's going to work out for you. I have nothing but confidence in your future in terms of this podcast endeavor. Thank you for being here, Brooks Wheelan. You can check them out online by Googling the words Brooks Wheelan. If you can't figure that out, you probably shouldn't be checking anything out anyways. Just give up, dig a hole, and lay in it until you figure out how to get out of it. Okay. Thank you for being here, Brooks. We love you.
Thanks, Johnny. It was very, very fun.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm stopping.
Thank you for listening to Live to Tape Podcast with Johnny Pemberton. Please check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/live to tape for weekly insider information and other audio extras. The podcast is now available on YouTube at youtube.com/justmynipples. That's youtube.com/justmynipples. Thank you for listening. See you again. Stay safe. We love you. Bye. What else? I'm not sure. Just keep a pile of leaves that are dry in a small bag outside your door, and make sure you always tip your hat left, not right. You can keep that when you might have